Hey everybody, it's CJ.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Oscar.
And I'm Nick.
And yeah, wow, first discussion in what feels like forever because it has been. I think the last one we did was the FF reboot one in like November or October.
Yeah.
Which I was not present, sadly.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. And this is one of the series that we want to get back up and back going. I guess we should start with a little announcement. Definitely go check out. We are in a poll right now. We're in a race against other comic book YouTube channels. Watch Mojo is going to do a daily, what they call the Top X is their show, where they take the top 10, usually, of a given category, and they'll, rank them, etc. But we made the cut for comic book YouTube channels based on a poll that was created, so the poll link is in the description. We were number 3 at one point. We were actually number 1 for like about 5 minutes, and then we got bumped down to number 3, and then to number 5, and now we kind of settled at number 7 for a couple months, but now there's been an increased round of voting as the Watch Mojo thing heats up. So definitely go vote for us if you haven't already. The link is going to be in the description. Got a lot of support. Top Cow tweeted at us. They're going to help us out. Viso did not get back to us, unfortunately, but definitely go vote for us. It's going to be huge to be in there, just for exposure-wise. But also, we have a new show starting on Instacator. Title is, Untitled right now, working on it. I'll get back to you guys later about that. But next Saturday, January 31st, we are going to have a 30-minute show talking about, just goings-on in comic book television, comic book movies, all that kind of stuff. I think we're going to mainly focus on the television, but get hyped. Check us out over there. We'll include that link in an upcoming more, kind of announcement video later. Josh has already talked about that in his Doomsday News. But yeah, so back to the topic at hand, Marvel Reboots. This week was very big in terms of news for Marvel Reboots. We found out that Secret Wars, of course, as many had speculated, is going to completely reboot the Marvel Universe. So guys, just what are your thoughts on this, the Marvel reboot? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Bad.
What's the dealio?
I have no idea. It's just so big. I'm trying to process it even now. I mean, my only concern is like, okay, you guys know I'm the Spider-Man guy around here, so there's a couple of new books coming out, like particularly in for name here, Spider-Gwen or Spider-Gwen, whatever you want to call her, but her comic is going to start pretty soon, and so is Silk. And with Secret Wars coming up, are they just going to leave it at like 12 issues and call it good, or what is the time frame here?
We'll even make 12 issues, like 2 issues.
That's the thing is, I kind of realized, I'd always been saying, I don't know. I've been hearing from people that Iron Fist is going to be a limited series of 12 issues, but I can't seem to find that anywhere. And now I know why it's going to be 12 issues. Is the reboot is going to come along and just everything's gone. But big shout out to Kari Kyle Andrews. I now know how to say your name. Thanks. A little Twitter interaction there. But that's a great series, and I'm going to be sad to see go. I'm hoping he makes it out to the other side, and they give Mr. Andrews more to do. But Spider-Gwen is something that you've mentioned. It's not even its own series yet. When does that series even start?
It's supposed to start, I think, in February or March. Actually, March or April, I believe.
So it's going to start right before Secret. Well, I mean, the thing is, these Secret Wars titles are organized into 3 categories: Last Days, Battle Worlds, and War Zones, or Battle World and War Zones, all of which are kind of going to, they're still going to be regular titles, but under the banner of Secret Wars, Last Days, Battle Worlds, or War Zones. So there's, all these series I think are going to continue to run under this thing. That's my thought, is they're going to keep, publishing all these series, but they're just going to be under different titles. So it'll really be interesting to see how the reading list is done for this, because Spider-Verse, it was only 4 different titles, and they just bounced back and forth through the story. But I feel like this might be the case where you're going to have to buy every book to know what's going on, which is just, I'm going to be penniless living on the streets.
Which is kind of the problem. I love Spider-Verse, guys, but that's kind of the problem I'm having with Spider-Verse at the moment. It's kind of running a little too long, and you have to get this book to get that book to understand this story and understand that story.
On average, it's 3 or 4 issues a week, and by the end of this, it's going to be 20-some issues.
Yeah.
If you count Edge of Spider-Verse and the epilogues.
Yeah, and I'm already going to be broke with all the MCU and DC movies coming out, so come on, I need some money left.
Yeah, there you go. Well, so yeah, Oscar, haven't heard from you. What are your thoughts on the reboot?
I'm not. I don't really know. I mean, on one foot, I can see like where Marvel is coming from. I can see why they want to start over and do a reboot. But on the other hand, I'm like, is it really necessary? I mean, the current Marvel universe is good. I don't really see why they would, do a reboot and such things. But I'm kind of like bouncing back and forth, sort of.
True. I mean, kind of my question is, Marvel Now was supposed to be like a semi renumbering number ones thing. It's like, was Marvel Now just like a half measure, or like what's the deal with that?
It's like a
Did they just
relaunching, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like, and that was the big question when Marvel Now was coming out. Is it a reboot? Is it a relaunch? Like, what's happening to these titles? And it's no, the universe continues, and that ended up being more confusing than the New 52 at first. But yeah, so Marvel Now, what's the deal with that? I guess we're gonna get Marvel, the new Marvel Now, or whatever after
All new
Secret
Marvel
Wars.
now.
All new Marvel Now.
All new.
All new.
I would just call it like Marvel World.
Marvel World, the Marvel Universe. But
Marvel
yeah, so
Cinematic Universe comics.
something that's a really interesting thing is Josh had me make a video a couple months back when this time runs out thing was happening and when it was leading up to something, and he speculated, as I kind of agreed with, that the Beyonder was behind this whole thing, and it seems like the title of one of these books being Battleworld would seemingly confirm that, because the original Battleworld, of course, was put together by the Beyonder in the original Secret Wars. So it's kind of interesting. The Beyonder confirmed. We've seen the Beyonder on, I guess what people have speculated to be the Beyonder on one of the future covers of New Avengers. But so yeah, it's really interesting, just the symbolism here in Secret Wars. And I know Oscar, you mentioned that before.
Yeah. I said it's kind of poetic that the first Secret Wars was the big first huge Marvel event, and that changed like everything about Marvel Comics. And now we're getting a Secret Wars that will literally change Marvel Comics once again.
Pretty much, ending the universe as we know it.
Yeah. Seems like every 50 years they're gonna do this.
Yeah, every 50 years they're gonna have
Like
another
DC.
one. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be really interesting to see just how this stacks up next to like the New 52 reboot. Because I think the New 52 is like a fine wine. It's gotten a little bit better with age. At first you were kind of like, what the hell? What's this doing? Why are they doing this? But in the years since, it's almost reached normalcy again. The New 52 it's okay now. Like it's safe to jump in, if that makes sense. It'll be really interesting to see if Marvel actually learns something from DC in that regard. But so I mean, what do you guys think? What do you guys think that Marvel could learn from DC?
Probably organizing a bit better, because the thing that I felt when I read some of the stuff from the New 52 was that a lot of the people didn't sit down and like talk to each other. They didn't talk to each other about, okay, what's going on with this character, what's going on in his solo title, what's going on within the team book that he's in. I think they didn't really plan things out ahead, so to speak.
I would agree. I think like the case in point that me and Josh have been bringing up since the New 52 happened was the case of the Robins, where it's like, okay, now basically in 2 years or so, Batman has burned through like all of his Robins, and then they kind of tried to solve that with like a little bit of a half measure later and say, hey, Tim Drake was never a Robin, or something like that, which just pissed Josh off.
Ouch.
But yeah, it'll be. I know, Zach, the case of Spider-Man is really
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned with like, okay, so word is they're gonna bring Miles into the 616, or it's not even gonna be 616 anymore. So they're gonna have Miles and Peter. We still have Miguel O'Hara running around, and we got all these other Spider-Man going on. So the main three that I'm concerned for is Peter, Miguel, and Miles. Are they going to be in the same universe? Are they still going to keep 2099 running around somewhere? And if they're going to put Miles in this universe, I would either do two things. One, have Peter, if the rumors are true, if this is going to happen, if Peter is going to be remarried again with MJ and the whole One More Day thing is gone, have Peter, like, retire, hand over the Spider-Man duties and all that to Miles, and Miles can take that over, and you can have Miguel O'Hara running around in the future or something like that. And what Oscar suggested earlier, have Peter and Miles like kind of like a shift duties every now and again. Like when Peter's busy with like say his new company and all that, Miles can take over. But then again, Nick brought up with the reboot, that's probably not even going to exist anymore. So there you go.
True. Yeah. I mean, it's really, really interesting just to see, like, specifically, I mean, I guess the easiest way to do that would just say, okay, Peter is still there. Peter is the main Spider-Man. Miles is going to come over from the other universe. And Spider-Man 2099 is just from the future, I guess would be the easiest way to describe it. But I mean, it's just a good, the Spider-Man case where you've literally just had Spider-Verse showing you, and this is a good example, I just want to jump into this before I say it, both Time Runs Out and Spider-Verse are just kind of Marvel's way of saying, look at all these other universes we've created, look at all the other universes we've created over the years, and they're gone. Spider-Verse specifically, it's like they want to endear you to all these characters, although that'll be wrapped up by the end of Spider-Verse, I think. They want to endear you to all these characters, and then you'll probably see them again in Secret Wars, and you'll see how they shake out, how they end up. But I think, it's just I think Spider-Man is the key example of there being so many multiversal characters that people love. And it's all up in the air as of right now.
Yeah, you know what really kills me right now? If in the new universe, Mayday and Benji are not going to exist.
Yeah.
That means no Spider-Girl, no Benji Parker, Spectacular Spider-Baby, none of that. That's just gonna kill me. I love Spider-Girl.
It's gonna be, it's just gonna be crazy to see how it shakes out. But sorry about that. Let's just explore for a couple minutes the titles that are gonna be part of the Secret Wars thing. And so as I think I mentioned earlier, there are 3 banners: Secret Wars Last Days, Secret Wars Battle World, and Secret Wars War Zones. And all 3 of these titles are going to deal with, or all 3 of these banners, as they call them, are going to deal with different things. Battle World is more about what's going on with Battle World itself, and kind of who's behind it, which I guess we know is going to be the Beyonder. Last Days is actually going to be, I guess, technically first. That seems to be what's going to run into Secret Wars. It's kind of the, I guess it's how things lead up to Secret Wars. And then War Zones are sort of all the different people that are in all the different, quote-unquote war zones, I guess, which are the different, I guess the war zones are the specific different, quote-unquote nations of Battle World. So of these 3, which sound the most interesting to you guys? I'm honestly probably more interested in the Battle World series, just because I want to see if we've been right about the Beyonder.
Yeah, I don't know too much about either one, but the one I'm probably the most interested in would probably be Last Days. Like, how are all these characters in, like, the MCU... Not the MCU, I'm sorry, I brought the MCU into this. Like,
well, Nick can talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah,
they'll be in there, don't worry.
Yeah, like, how are all the characters in, like, the 616 and, like, the Ultimates and, like, all the other universes surrounding it, how are they going to react to all this? Because I think that's what they're going to go with, like, the various different characters' reaction to, like, the universe is ending, and, oh no, this is going to happen, oh no, we're all going to die, or stuff like that.
So, yeah, Oscar, Nick, what are your thoughts? Like, which of these banners would interest you the most?
Last Days. I'd go with Zach too, just because, like he was saying, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to wrap up all the books, like, leading into the big event, how it's all going to tie together and whatnot.
Oscar?
Yeah, I kind of torn between War Zones and Last Days, actually.
I think War Zones is probably going to be the one that most of these titles are going to fall under. I feel like Battle World is more or less going to be its own kind of series where it's more about Battle World. Warzones is probably going to be like Avengers, Warzones, New Avengers, Warzones, Iron Fist, Warzones. And then Last Days will be kind of, the first banner, and, Battle World and Warzones will probably be running at about the same time. So I guess, now we kind of want to talk about what the universe itself is going to look like after Secret Wars. So, do you guys have any thoughts? Like any ideas?
Yeah, I think Nick had something to say about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll look exactly like the MCU.
Yeah. Which I would have to. I don't know. There's something. One part of me wants to agree with Nick. Like they're gonna take more cues from like the MCU because, like, the movies have been affecting the comics a little bit. I mean, just look at the Scarlet Witch whole thing. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna bring that controversy in here, but yeah, it looks like maybe they're gonna borrow a lot more ideas and concepts from the MCU because the MCU is so big and popular right now, and that seems to be what mainstream audiences are most familiar with. So that could be a way that they could bring in new readers into all the new number ones that are gonna come out.
I wonder how many number ones that they're gonna put out. How many titles they'll have? 40. I heard a rumor that they'll have 42 titles because there's apparently 42 worlds on the battle map or whatever.
So could we technically call this the new 42?
Yeah. I want to see Marvel do it just new 53, just the middle 50. It's we got one more.
Yeah, we got one up on you guys.
Yeah, just one. That's all we need. But the big case to talk about is the X-Men. And Oscar, you were talking about this before.
Yeah, exactly. As you guys probably know, or probably don't know, I'm a huge X-Men fan. I literally live and breathe X-Men. And the thing is, with Secret Wars, most of the X-Men will be, phased out of the Marvel Universe.
Which is going to be pretty big, I guess, because, with Fox having the rights and Marvel not having the rights, and then the whole Fantastic Four getting blown up in the Punisher issue that one time.
Yeah.
What's the Fantastic Four? Where are they going to be after the reboot?
Yeah.
Because they've actually...
Good question.
They've actually been, a pretty big focus of, well, at least Reed and Sue have been pretty big in the recent Avengers and New Avengers issues. So it'll be really, really interesting to see just how they interact, what kind of role they're going to have. Because I feel like they would definitely have a role in Secret Wars, but I mean, you could call it right now. And in fact, I'd put money on this. I'd put money on the fact that somehow the Fantastic Four are going to be, tragic victims or kind of a shocking death.
Now that you mention it, that does seem like it's going to happen. I'm almost betting they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Fox logo in the panel where they die or something?
Yeah. Josh Trank is also going to bite it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing I'm very interested in is how will the Marvel Universe look like without the X-Men? Because I believe that at least 59% of the current Marvel Universe is X-Men. That's how big the X-Men mythos and the X-Men universe is.
Just look at all the books.
Yeah, like Uncanny X-Men, X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, my ex-girlfriend, or whatever X-title, but...
I just expired.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, exactly.
Universe expires.
Yeah, but I hope you get what I'm saying. It's almost not... 59% of the Marvel Universe will be gone after Secret Wars.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's a reboot. What are you expecting?
No. No.
Are you proud of that one? Are you?
Yes, I am. You see, Comic Book Cast, we can do this too.
Well, they might
get the kitty.
They might replace most of the X books with Inhuman books and stuff now. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting because the thing is, the X-Men have been so popular for half a century now that to restart all that with the Inhumans, it would take a lot of work. And it's that's the part of me is that I really don't expect that they're going to completely wipe out the X-Men in that way, just because the X-Men continue to be very popular. And they continue to be a very both progressive and appealing book for teenagers. Because that was why X-Men was so successful, was it hit home for a lot of teens in the 60s, and it has ever since. and they've always kind of driven like.
Well, I think the theme of just being like an outsider in general.
Yeah.
And the X-Men. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if
what really brought X-Men. What really brought X-Men to the forefront of the Marvel Universe was Chris Claremont. Chris Claremont did a fantastic job with X-Men during his tenure as writer on the book. He wrote so many classic stories like Days of Future Past, Dark Phoenix, the Mutant Massacre, and a whole bunch of other classic X-Men stories.
Jim Lee.
And yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of wondering how exactly are the Inhumans going to compete with that? Because they have to take out a writer that's probably bigger or better than Chris Claremont, and let's see how that turns out.
Yeah.
I think right now that the writer that Marvel's trying to push the most is Charles Soule from DC.
Oh, love Charles Soule.
Because he's taking over the Uncanny Inhuman book, so I think he's gonna be the godfather of the Inhumans and stuff.
He's incredible. Zach, were you saying something?
Yeah, I think I was saying before. I don't think the Inhumans are gonna take the X-Men's place too much because, I mean, like what you guys said, the X-Men are like basically about outsiders and what it means to be like different from like the mainstream crowd. And I don't know if the Inhumans can pull that off because that would just be saying, oh, they're just copying what the X-Men did. But I mean, I think the Inhumans are like, okay, forgive me for like making this comparison, like X-Men from space, but they're a different like basis. They're not entirely about outsiders. They're just like it's a different context, I guess. And they can't really take what the X-Men set up, because that would just be, like, kind of cheating. If that makes any sense.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a big thing, and I don't see them ever canceling it, and it would be definitely very shocking, but the X-Men have always driven sort of a progressive agenda. You see the X-Men in the 60s, kind of a metaphor for civil rights and acceptance of people, despite differences, and they've always kind of paralleled that struggle. Mutants and the civil rights movement, or mutant rights, I guess.
Yeah, mutant rights, and everybody fights.
Exactly, and there's, I mean, you look at that, and then recently, the whole Alpha Force North Star wedding thing was very big. So X-Men has always, it seems, X-Men has consistently been
the forefront of that.
Yes, they've been on the cutting edge of kind of social change. That's a good way to describe it. So
especially
to see them
in the late 80s, early 90s, that's when the X-Men were the biggest.
Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they cancel that. Will the Inhumans kind of take over that role? But I mean, it's basically for that reason that I don't see them canceling it.
I don't think they'll do it.
So, all that said, will you guys be picking up Secret Wars? I mean, okay, I say that with kind of a caveat. I expect us as a channel to cover this, and we probably will cover Secret Wars, barring any changes. But like, I guess, okay, let me rephrase that question. Do you feel like a reboot like this is necessary?
No.
Yeah, I would have to go with Oscar. Not necessarily. But yeah, what Oscar said, I'd probably stick with him. But yeah, I guess depending if you have an idea and if you know how to execute it well enough, because the execution is key here. You have an idea. The real big key here is that you got to do it right. And if it's done right, people will be happy. If it's done wrong, then yeah.
What's really interesting is this is going to be released on the 30th anniversary of the original Secret Wars in 1984, or not exactly, I guess, the 30th anniversary, but it's going to be, I think, the new Secret Wars is going to start in May as well. Old Secret Wars started in May of 1984, so that's kind of a cool little connection. Does anyone know how long this is going to run? Like how long Secret Wars is going to run?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask too. Is it going to be like more like a whole year or this?
Because the original Secret Wars was a year long.
Can I make a suggestion?
The core limited series will be 8 issues long, and will likely run for 5 months. So this is not going to be a May to April kind of thing, but it will be a pretty long event. So.
Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
Can we do 3 months instead? Because I'm already almost at the very tip of being burnt out from Spider-Verse.
The channel will help you. You've got a couple months. Spider-Verse ends in February. You've got until May, so you've got about 3 months.
God.
R&R time. Go to Tahiti.
Yeah. It's a magical place.
Mm-hmm.
Puns and references.
There you go. All the references.
Yeah, and after we're all done, rested up, Josh and CJ will take out those whips and be like, okay, go back to work.
Or they're just gonna like inject us with H223 or whatever that was.
There you go.
And then we're gonna go psychotic and try to look for this ancient city. More references!
GH 325, 321, 325. I think it was 325.
Yeah, that 325. That was the one.
Yep. So there you go. You're gonna be like Mac drones.
Yay.
But no, it's going to be really interesting to see just how it all plays out. So I guess
instead of fully rebooting though, they could have just done like a Crisis type thing where they had multiple Earths and stuff set up.
I mean, technically they do have multiple Earths, but and I mean it's really interesting because we haven't gotten okay. I was going to say we haven't gotten confirmation that this is going to be a complete reboot. However, when people I believe it was, I can't remember if it was Axel Alonso or Tom Brevoort that said in the beginning, in Secret Wars #1, there is no 616, there is no Ultimate Universe, and to paraphrase now, there's only Battle World. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a reboot.
Yeah, but there's no denying anymore.
But the thing I have in the back of my mind is, like, Marvel has never really been that much about reboots. They have, for the most part, been about retcons, like changing stuff that we thought we know, but now it's different. But they haven't really been much about reboots. So this is kind of really interesting because I wonder, is this going to be a really heavy reboot, like rebooting everything from scratch, or is it just going to be, no, we're just going to change a few things. It will probably still be the same, but we'll just add a few things and take some things away.
True.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to CJ about. It was like when DC announced that they were going to do the New 52, Marvel said that we'll never do that. So I'm like, well, do they have a change of heart now? And what's going on?
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of, personally, I think they looked at the opportunity to redo such a classic and iconic storyline with the modern characters and shake things up. And I think they said, we have the possibility here. Why not? And it probably is going to settle a lot of things here, like maybe the Marvel Inhumans or the Mutants and Humans thing, maybe the Captain America Thor thing, Spider-Verse, the whole X-Men conundrum, the Fantastic Four. I think it'll settle it all. So it'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, just one thing. Don't phase away Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
true.
That'll be the first character they kill.
Doctor Doom is eternal. I remember I saw someone somewhere talking about it. It's like, man, Doctor Doom hasn't done anything in years, and I was like, he's pretty much been everywhere in Avengers and New Avengers.
Yeah.
So go check that out. He's back to his pimp walking status, manipulating everything.
Yeah, I can do what I want. I own my own country.
He'll be the only character from like the old universe that survives.
Exactly. Well, it'll be interesting to see because that's a whole thread on New Avengers that they've never really revealed is what Doctor Doom is exactly doing with Molecule Man.
Yeah.
So that's something they're probably gonna have to talk about in the next 5 months. But anyways, any final thoughts on this reboot?
Final thoughts. If you kill Doctor Doom, Oscar will go insane and probably just go on a killing spree.
If you kill Mayday.
Zach is gonna. If you make it like the MCU, Nick is gonna go on a killing spree.
No, if you put Batman in. Bring Batman
we all have triggers here.
Actually, that'd be cool. Put Batman in for a minute.
Batman shows up.
Hey, and if Dan DiDio kills off Dick Grayson, then CJ's gonna go on a killing spree.
The circle is complete, and I will.
But yeah, all joking aside though, I guess final thoughts from me is that like hopefully post reboot is good. I'm interested in good stories, so whether or not they fully reboot and stuff, as long as the writing is good and whatnot, I'll be buying it. So
it'll be, I think, just real quick, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with Convergence, because Convergence is going to happen in the end of April, right about that time. It's going to be the final Earth 2 stuff and the end of Future's End, so it'll be really interesting to see.
Future's End is still happening?
Yeah. They've got some good stuff too.
Yeah. My prediction for that convergence thing is that they're just gonna keep going with the New 52, but they're gonna say that there's other universes going on, like they're gonna bring back the old multiverse and stuff. And
true. Well, what's funny is they're gonna bring back the old multiverse, but the old multiverse is why they rebooted. At least according to them.
Or what if Secret Wars and Convergence lead into each other and we get the Amalgam universe?
Because that was the freaking hilarious. What was it? It was like Jonathan Hickman and a couple other people were joking about a secret project with some other DC writers, and everyone was like, Amalgam. We're gonna get Doctor Strange fate again. Which was just like he's the most overpowered person in either universe.
Get like Hickman and Snyder to write like a crossover.
Dude, I could dig that. You got Hickman, who's arguably one of the best comic book writers of our generation. Like, not even arguably, he is one of the best. And then you get Snyder, who just won the Hybrid Network Comic Award for Best Writer.
Lee to draw it.
There you go.
Then I would die happily.
Nick would just die then. He would just fall into a grave.
Just give me something with like John Romita Sr.'s art, and I'll be happy.
So, Oscar, any final thoughts?
I agree with Nick. As long as the writing is good, I'll be okay.
Yeah, same here for me. Just make sure Peter and Miles and Miguel, and at some point maybe Mayday too, because I really like Spider-Girl. Make sure that they're still alive somewhere.
I think it's going to be really interesting because I'm not sure if they've confirmed who's writing it yet, but I feel like it probably has to be Hickman, just because he's done all the lead up for New Avengers and Avengers. So I feel like Hickman's going to have a good part of it. And if that's the case, then the writing is going to be good. So
yeah, just don't go Age of Ultron on this. I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the comic.
Like, you mean the Secret Wars book, like the main book?
Yeah.
I thought they said that it was going to be like they announced one of the writers, and then there's like the other one is a mystery still.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be Hickman. I mean, I would assume.
Spoilers.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's Jonathan Hickman and Esad Ribic. Oh my God. Or Esad Ribic. Is he one of the writers? He should be the artist.
Oh boy.
Hold on one second. This is going to be big. Hold on. See, I'm so unprepared for this.
I thought they were just revealed that like a day ago or something.
Esad Ribic is a comic book. Okay, Marvel just pulled out their A-list writer and their A-list artist, because Ribic is he's the guy that is drawing Thor, or the true Thor.
Boy.
So he is incredible.
I'm sold.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. But yeah, so I guess that about wraps it up here. So yeah, Thor: God of Thunder, I guess, is the stuff that he had been doing. But yeah, so I guess that about wraps it up here from us. So any final thoughts? Final
thoughts? I'll be there for Captain America #1. Hopefully
I'll be there for all the Spider-Man related stuff, except for Spider-Woman, because I have a limit to how many Spider-Man I can take.
Oscar, final thoughts?
Know it yourself.
I actually did there.
Sweden rules, just so you know.
Oh yeah, you guys got your own superhero now, as I saw on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah, Captain Sweden. Yeah.
Captain Sweden.
Oh yeah. Hey, hold it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and his power of Swedish mediocrity.
Yeah.
You know what we didn't bring up though?
What?
I've heard there's this rumbling going on that this North Korean superhero called White Fox is going to be introduced in the Marvel Universe. Because she's over from the Disc Wars series, I think it was. Someone is going to bring her over, and she's going to be made into like a new main character into like the Avengers.
Hold on, this reminds me of something. There was if any of you guys, I'm sure you guys aren't reading this right now, but the Valiant-sized Quantum and Woody #1 that came out a couple months ago. Speaking of North Korean superheroes, there was a North Korean superheroine in that issue, and it was hilarious because she got exploded. It was fantastic. But yeah, so I guess.
Also super final thoughts, like you were saying. Hopefully, this new rebooted Marvel Universe has like a general timeline. Because that's my main complaint about the New 52 is that like I don't know when the Batman book takes place, and then when the Justice League book takes place, and when this book takes place. I'm like, what is the timeline here?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is going on?
So
can you tell
hopefully
me?
they establish that what's going on.
Yes.
Hopefully they don't do with Captain America what they did with Batman. It's like, in like 4 years, it's like we've already had Bucky Cap and Falcon Cap now. So
No, that'd be awesome though.
And Winter Soldier.
I mean, I'd be fine with like Bucky Cap, but just pick one. Don't do both, or don't try to tell me that one
just
Bucky
have all
was
three
Cap
Caps at once.
Yeah.
No.
There you
We're
go.
gonna get Captain Puerto Rico in after Secret Wars.
Yeah, we're gonna get a Captain America
Corps. 51
Corps.
stars on his chest.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a total dick fest with it.
Yeah. All the Captain. But no. So yeah, that about wraps it up here from us. Signing off. I'm CJ.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Oscar.
And I'm Nick.
And super final thoughts. Vote for the Hybrid Network.
Yes, do it. The link is below. Vote.
Hey guys, subscribe if you haven't yet. Like the video if you liked it, obviously. Share it on social media. Speaking of social media, we have a Twitter, so follow us on Twitter. We have a Facebook, so like us on Facebook. We do a lot on the social medias that we don't do on YouTube in particular. And we'll see you guys next time.